Hello and welcome to round 6 of Grand Prix Boston Worcester. I'm Ben Swartz, joined here in the booth by Max McCall.
Hello.
And we've got a match for you. We've got Adam Egli on the left-hand side of your screen, facing off against Shota Yasooka on the right-hand side of your screen. Shota Yasooka, one of the 16 players qualified for next week's Players' Championship. It looks like he's rocking K-On! Sleeves. K-On!, one of his favorite anime, I know.
Oh, I see.
Also a favorite anime of Yuya Watanabe and Christian Calcano, AJ Soccer. They all love the same anime, but
I had no idea.
it looks like Adam here is going to mulligan down to 6. Shota keeps his hand of 7.
Yeah.
But as I was saying earlier, Shota almost didn't make this event. He got delayed. His flight got canceled in Washington, D.C. last night when he was supposed to make his connection, and he got a really early morning flight this morning and made it to the tournament just in time.
Right, which is certainly, I'm sure many of you are familiar with the story of the Japanese team from the World Magic Cup, where they flew into Washington, D.C. and again missed their flight and were forced to take a $1,400 cab ride from Washington, D.C. to Indianapolis. So fortunately, Shota was able to escape that, and here he is at 5-0, so he's got to be feeling pretty good.
Looks like Shota will start things off with a Knight of Infamy, right?
Yeah.
Torch Fiend will counter for Adam. Let's see what Shota has on turn 3. Centaur Courser. What do you think about bringing Centaur Courser back? And did you work on this core set?
I did.
Was that something you guys had hoped to bring back, or?
In general, like we like the. So particularly with vanillas, it's very interesting to find powerful vanillas that just have fun numbers. So with Centaur Courser, it's certainly the largest guy on the curve at 3, but it's not outrageously large. It doesn't come down and just dominate a game in the way that something like a vanilla 4/4 might. But it's still. Even though it's a vanilla, the way it interacts with other creatures at that curve, like particularly Servant and Nephirox, and with all the Exalted guys running around, just the play patterns are actually just very distinct from one another, just even from game to game, even within these two same decks here. Yeah, so
Shota attacked in with his Centaur Courser, and Adam took a chance to Searing Spear the Centaur Courser, but Shota quickly replaced it, and Adam cast a Liliana Spectre to search up a 4th swamp, passing it back to Shota on his turn.
Yeah, it's interesting with the Exalted triggers how much more powerful extra toughness is on defense, and then the corollary that would be extra power on offense becomes, right? Like Torch Fiend being a 2/1 is, oh boy.
Mark of the
goodness.
Vampire on Shota's foil Centaur Courser there. It creates quite the beast.
That is a large and in-charge creature.
5/5 and lifelink.
Yeah.
Now Adam needs to rely on what I guess public execution murder will get rid of that Centaur Courser, but there's not much else in red black. I see a Volcanic Geyser in Adam's hand, which if he gets 2 more lands, we'll be able to take it out. But
if he can hang on that long, yeah, for sure. A lot of the red removal obviously is based around how much toughness you can defeat, and he can turn to slag it when it's on defense, but obviously he doesn't have turn to slag it. We've cast it already, and he definitely wouldn't be pumping that Liliana Shade.
Yeah, so Adam gets in with the Liliana Shade and the Torch Fiend, and just pumps the Liliana Shade once, dropping Shota to 22.
Pump my Shade once, pass the turn. Shota's got to be wondering what he's up to.
Yeah, it's not good. I mean, usually when your opponent does something like that, where they pass back with mana up, you start thinking about the things they could have.
Right.
Could have Cower and Fear, could have Public Execution, but he couldn't cast Public Execution here.
Right. I feel like
Shota has no fear and just attacks with both his creatures.
Nope. Cower and Fear.
Okay, so that'll take out the Knight. Centaur Courser will deal 4. I mean, even when Adam gets to his 7th land to be able to cast the Volcanic Geyser for enough, the damage is already done with that Centaur Courser.
Right, and the amount of life it's gained, Shota is going to translate pretty directly into more cards he's just going to be able to draw because he's going to be alive for longer.
Yeah. Let's see what Adam draws here. A Murder. Wow. Well, that's just what he needed.
Yeah.
Does he wait, or does he cast it as soon as he can? Well, he's attacking with these 2 guys.
Yeah.
He's going to pump the Liliana? No, it doesn't look like it. Instead, he'll cast
here.
Rummaging Goblin. and hold off on the murder.
Yeah,
There's nothing in this set that gives it like hexproof or anything. There's not like Ranger Scale like there was.
Right, in Innistrad. There's nothing that leaps to mind, which isn't to say that my memory might not be failing me. But, yeah, you know, we'll wait and see if Shota's going to move in with another mark or a Rancor or something.
Yeah. Well, the murder takes out that Centaur Courser, and the green Serra Angel in the form of Sentinel Spider comes down for Shota.
Yeah. Once upon a time, Sentinel Spider could defeat Serra Angel. It used to be a 4/5.
Really?
Yeah. That proved to be a little excessive.
What were some other big changes that were made in the set?
Changes.
Maybe turned a card from being really powerful to just being average, or changing an average card to being one that's really powerful.
So the card that I find the most interesting change in its power level here is Tormented Soul, the B1/1 that's unblockable. In M12, it was a really important card just for turning on your Bloodthirst curve. And in M13, it's also really important, but for a totally different reason, just because of how powerful it is with Exalted. And now the Dark Favor Tormented Soul is even more threatening. So it's little stuff like that that I think characterizes M13 as being different from the other core sets. Oh, here we go.
The Crimson Muckwaiter on Muckwater. Muckwaiter?
Yeah.
He brings the food?
Yes.
Waiter. He brings... Rashad, we've got it. Crack team Rashad. He waits tables in the muck is where Crimson Muckwaiter comes in.
Oh.
Looks like Hamlet. Yeah, Hamlet back Goliath. That was a card that was brought back from Lorwyn. Yeah. There's a lot of interesting cards that seem like they feel so much like the sets they were in. Like Hamlet back Goliath feels fit Lorwyn really well because of the giant theme, and cards like Vampire Nighthawk or Blade Tuskborg and Giant Scorpion felt so Zendikar to me, you know?
Right.
And seeing them in this light is really interesting.
Yeah. There's a lot of the reprints that have been pulled from sort of their original sets, and they've been giving it a new context, like Welcome Turn, for example.
Yeah, that too.
It's still a very powerful card, obviously, but it's not quite as absurd as it was in Zendikar block because of the prevalence of the spiders, cards like Crippling Blight, Flames of the Firebrand.
I mean, also it's not as this isn't as aggressive as Informant as Zendikar was.
Right.
Wow. Liliana Shade getting in here,
going
for
all the way in.
7.
Yeah.
I mean, Shota's got the life to spare, so
yeah.
He doesn't seem to mind going down to 14. Sitting on that Hamlet back Goliath. And the Crimson Muckwaiter.
This is interesting. Adam is throwing his Torch Fiend in the way of the Muckwaiter for Shota to regenerate here.
Instead of the Hamlet back Goliath?
Right. Looks like he wanted to, force Shota to tap some mana on his main phase. I'm curious to see what he's going to do with Shota's shields being a little down here.
I saw a Rise from the Grave in Adam's hand, but I'm not sure that's going to be enough. Best thing to bring back is, what, a Centaur or a Sentinel Spider?
That's what it looks like, yeah.
But is that going to be enough? Like, the Hamlet back Goliath will grow.
Yeah, and even just as a 6/6, like it's going to be hard for the Goliath to get through Liliana's Shade with the Spider, but it's going to cost Adam a lot of mana just to represent that every turn.
Well, it looks like he is going to rise from grave the Sentinel Spider. Hamlet back Goliath will turn into a 10/10. Adam will get in for 2, dropping Shota 12, and cast Walking Corpse.
Yeah. That giant is going to get out of control very quickly here.
Yeah. There's only so long that Adam can chump, and with Adam at 4 life, he can only take 2 hits of that Muckwaiter.
Right. Now, Shota doesn't have Rancor. It doesn't look like there's anything in his deck that can give that Hamlet back Goliath trample, so that's going to be good for Adam. But he's still in quite the hole here. Curious to see.
Yeah, I mean, and Liliana Spectre isn't going to be dealing much damage because the Muckwaiter will be able to continually regenerate turn after turn.
Right.
So Adam turns his Spectre into a 4/4. Muckwaiter will regenerate, and he'll cast another Walking Corpse off the top.
Yeah, it was interesting when he cast that first walking corpse. It was like, I'm not sure how much bigger you want to make that Hamlet-back Goliath, but at this point it's just so outrageously large that he just needs as many animals as possible to throw under the bus.
He needs a public execution. I'm not sure he has. He's got one in his deck.
Right.
In order to get rid of that Hamlet-back Goliath. Maybe that's what he was drawing to. He knew he couldn't beat the Hamlet-back Goliath anyway.
That's super smart. Playing to your outs is very important in Magic.
So let's see what Shota does on his turn. I didn't get a look at what he drew, but
I think it's Mindclaw Shaman.
Okay.
Which will let him, if Adam ever passes the turn with a card in his hand, Shota will be able to find out what's up and maybe even use the trick against him.
But how often is that going to happen? I mean, any sorcery Adam will want to cast in his turn. Any instant Adam could cast in response because he's got so much mana available.
Yeah, I think at this point it's mostly going to be good for Shota in that he's not going to get blown out in combat by the instant. He's going to be able to cast it and then see what happens and sort of let the dust clear and decide if he still wants to move in.
So they've reached somewhat of a stalemate. I mean, if you're Shota, you don't want to get in with the Hamlet-back Goliath because you die to the crackback. 4 or 6, yeah.
Yeah.
Or you could potentially die to the crackback if there's like a Searing Spear a turn previously.
With the Vampire in the shade, Adam's representing a lot of damage. Oh.
But a public execution of Shota's takes out the Sentinel Spider at end of Adam's turn. Allows him to untap and draw. Is that a Searing Spear? Shota's hand?
Tell. He doesn't have a Searing Spear in his deck.
Okay, maybe it was a Chandra's Fury.
Yeah, or I believe
doesn't have a Chandra's Fury in his deck.
No, I think it's Flames of the Firebrand, or the Shaman. Shaman has that little like Viashino dork.
Yeah. Oh, Shota has a Rise from the Grave of his own.
Oh, that spider is just going to do all kinds of work this game.
The Hamlet-back Goliath will go to unbelievable size.
Tuskville.
Big guy.
This is interesting because the trample will allow Shota to start representing some damage, at least. The the Rise from the Grave is probably being left in reserve just in case, Adam. Shota understands obviously that Adam basically has to find a banishing to kill the Goliath, and if he has a Rise from the Grave after, so the Rise from the Grave to counteract that, he can feel confident that in the long game he can just keep abyssing Adam here.
So Shota's going to attack him with the Goliath, get blocked by the Bloodthorn Vampire post-combat. Looks like he's going to play that Shaman, or Rise from the Grave, I guess.
Oh.
He just
I take it all back.
Adam dead on board, right?
Yeah, right.
Enough 4-power plus creatures. Adam needs something better than a Mutilate.
Yeah. I think he drew Dragon Skull Summit there, so that's not going to be good enough.
Yeah. Shota draws and...
Yeah, he's going to see what's up with the Mindclaw Shaman. Sees the way is clear.
Yep, and Shota takes the first game here. Shota Yasooka. We get a good look at him. Former Player of the Year and Magic Online Player of the Year. The only person to win both of those titles. I know I was talking to Shuei Nakamura back when I lived in Japan. He told me that the year that Shota won Magic Online Player of the Year, he literally played Magic Online for 18 plus hours a day. He would sleep in between rounds.
Wow.
He would set a thing on his computer to like set an alarm when Moto popped up and take short like 20-minute naps.
Wow.
Because that was the first year of it. So the person who had the most points at the end, most QPs, won.
Right.
So it was the one year where you had to put in an enormous amount of volume to win.
Yeah, that's
and
an impressive amount of dedication.
Yeah. Shota Yasooka, known in Japan for how much he plays Magic Online. Yaya3 is his Magic Online screen name.
I mean, certainly plenty of people in America are familiar with Yaya3. He's terrorizing both sides of the ocean. Certainly the willingness to play at all hours means that, he's right there for everybody.
When I heard that, it sort of didn't surprise me from what I know about Shota, but surprised me that somebody would be able to do that for multiple days in a row.
Right, yeah. I'm sure everybody is like, oh, that sounds fun. Like, you should play Magic all the time, and Magic is awesome. Like, I totally get that. And then, after a weekend, it's just like, I am so tired. And,
there's only so many times you can get bonfired in a 48-hour period before you want to throw your computer out the window.
That's definitely true. And, you know, Shota's fortunate enough to be able to play professionally, but, you know, obviously for many people that's just not feasible given their current schedules and where they are in life. So, you know, just playing Magic Online constantly is...
I mean, on the flip side of the coin, there's players like Paul Rd6 who works a full-time job,
Yeah.
but I know that when he gets home from his job, even if it's late, he'll always fire up a Moto Draft.
Right.
And it's been sort of that late-night Magic Online playing that allowed him, you know, to do so well in the past couple of years.
And he's doing tremendously well. He has a couple of Pro Tour top 8s. Obviously, Pro Tour Amsterdam is his crown jewel. But, yeah, and they're, you know, Tom Martell, very similar in that works a full-time job at a law office, plays a lot of Magic Online, and is willing to just come out to events whenever he can make it, and is doing quite well.
Yeah, I mean, he won Grand Prix Indianapolis. I know I was interviewing at the company he works for.
Yeah.
And one of my interview questions was like, how big of a deal was it that Tom Martell won that tournament last week? How big of a deal was it? I'm like,
Oh, boy. Was Tom on the panel?
No, it was one of his friends, obviously.
Oh, okay,
the place where he works is relatively small.
Sure.
But I cannot believe it. I'm pretty sure they asked that question because they were just honestly curious.
Just trolling. Sure.
But
that's good. Sounds like a fun place to work, actually.
Yeah, from what I remember when I applied there, a lot of the players are sort of casual gamers.
Sure.
They have weekly, like, Settlers of Catan games going on.
Yeah.
And I know that's not, you know, that's not too rare at other companies, right?
No. I'm familiar mostly with the gaming companies in the Seattle scene. Obviously, at Wizards, we play a lot of Magic, and I mean, we play a lot of other board and card games as well. Here we're shuffling up for Game 2. Very briefly, I know that, you know, Valve and PopCap have big Magic leagues, have big board game nights.
It's awesome. I know that when I visited Seattle, that their turnout for tournaments, even like local Thursday night drafts, is just gigantic. Looks like a Goblin Arsonist will start things off for Adam.
Night of Infamy.
Yep, for Shota, just as we saw.
Same as last game. Second verse is just very similar to the first.
And a Servant of Neferox drawn off the top for Shota to give double Exalted if he so wishes.
Right.
I mean, it's probably not great because if he attacks and then Goblin Arsonist blocks, he can take out the Servant, but Searing Spear will just take out the Knight.
Yeah. The most interesting thing about M13 in relation to other core sets is very subtle, but it might just be how important the difference between 1 and 2 toughness is. Cards like Goblin Arsonist and especially Chandra's Fury just represent, you know, the ability to get very nearly Plague Winded and Lava Axe for your trouble just from, oh boy.
Mind Rot takes out 2 lands from Adam, and then Adam plays Dark Favor on his Goblin Arsonist. That guy's not going anywhere soon. So I've got a question. How conscious of a thing it was for you guys to put Mog Flunkies into the set where Exalted was a big thing? Was that something you guys came to really quickly, or?
Yeah, Mog Flunkies was in the original design file, I believe. Was certainly put in there very early in development, if not. And it's not tension. Like the red decks aren't very Exalted based, but it's a very conscious effort to make sure that you're not just both sitting there with one creature attacking, one creature blocking every turn. You get a nice little back and forth with, like, a lot of the Exalted guys are a little bit understated, and so when their one Exalted guy attacks, oh, here we go, murder on the Tusk Bailoff, and that Arsonist is just going to keep crashing in.
Yeah, this drops Shota down to 8 life. All of his creatures have bitten the dust to removal spells from Adam. Sentinel Spider will come down to try to stem the bleeding, but
just
finally
wants
takes
to
out.
block as fast as he can. Please don't play another removal spell.
Shota missing his, Rise from the Grave on the Sentinel Spider. Shota was hoping to do that to himself with his Rise from the Grave.
Yeah. Here he's rising that Bailiff. The Bailiff will be able to block. That's fine.
You got trade Rise from the Grave for Rise from the Grave. But Adam's been able to get just a huge advantage from that Dark Favor on the unblocked Goblin Arsonist.
Yeah. I'm not sure how much Adam really wanted to trade Spider for Bailoff there with his Walking Corpses. Because the Bailiff only has 2 toughness. Like, if he just plays his Walking Corpses, he can start threatening Shota with those. And Shota's only at, at the time 7 life. Like, he's got to respect the 2/2. And if he trades that off, the Sentinel's the biggest game in town again.
Shota's going to have to use a public execution on the Walking Corpse to stay above water.
Yeah.
Here he continues staying at 5, but if he had taken it, he would have gone to 1 and been dead to, almost anything.
Right, I'm sure he's conscious, especially of Chandra's Fury. You know, he doesn't...
I think Shota's also going to have to use a Flames of the Firebrand here. Yep, on the Walking Corpse.
Yeah, that's one of the interesting things about powerful removal spells is that, you know, your first few are excellent, but if your hand is all removal spells, like at some point you have to trade, you know, your awesome Flames of the Firebrand for 2/2s, and you're just looking anywhere for any sort of creature.
Sure, or Public Execution for a 2/2.
Right, yeah. You know, if all your deck is Oblivion Rings, it's like, you gotta Oblivion Ring some kind of embarrassing cards. He does have Adam down to no cards in hand, though, so...
Playing off the top.
Right. Oh.
Okay, 3 damage. Shota goes down to 2 from the Duskmantle Prowler. Shota draws Duty Bound Dead. They'll be able to block, but if Adam's got a burn spell on the top of his library, Cower in Fear, that won't do it. Save that for a sunny day.
Yeah, and Shota has plenty of spells. Excuse me, has plenty of spells in his hand. I don't think he's completely out of it here, but he's certainly still gonna be backpedaling awfully quick.
Torch Fiend for Adam. Looks like Shota drew Crippling Blight. That's not. You think he's gonna use it on the Torch Fiend right now?
I mean, when you're having to Flames down 2/2s, the opportunity to trade a 2/1 for your Crippling Blight looks almost like a bargain in comparison. He's not quite in such dire straits as he was back then, of course. He might. Oh, it's possible he wants to save it for Liliana's Shade, if he can hang out with the board as is and just sort of let his mind rots and being on the draw sort of take natural advantage of that as the game draws on and the card advantage becomes more important. He'll want to save his removal for the threats he really can't beat. It's like right here, you know, it's good for him to get the 2/1 off the board. Like he can even potentially start attacking with that Courser. He can start getting a little bit of counterplay. But if the long game favors him, he probably just don't want to be taking any chances at all, really.
Maybe I missaw the card, but Mark of the Vampire again goes on the Centaur Courser. This should be able to get Shota out of a little trouble.
The 6th life there is going to be huge.
Adam could trade all of his cards, both of his creatures and the Cower in Fear for... I guess it doesn't trade. I keep thinking Cower in Fear is only your opponent's creatures for some bizarre reason in my head. I mean, like, it makes trades possible, but it does... I guess it does. If you put it, play post-com... I don't know what I'm saying. If it were just an infect, I would understand it, but the fact that it's a new card...
Yeah,
throws me
and certainly there's also the potential for tricks from Shota's side too to really.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's just opponent's control. So Cower in Fear can also.
I was right. Okay.
Set up. Yeah. You spoke with such confidence that I didn't want to say anything against you. It's like. Here Shota's taking the offensive again with his Centaur Courser. And the life gain from Mark of the Vampire is taking him way out of range.
Adam at 7.
Yeah.
It's almost like the roles have been completely reversed. Shota at 13. S's drain off the top for Adam. Is this going to spell a early exit for Adam?
We're at 13.
Adam is just deep in the tank, trying to figure out a way out of this.
Tormented Soul. Vile Rebirth ported in for Shota.
Ooh.
That's not on his main deck, right?
No, certainly not. But this just goes to show how much respect Shota has for Rise from the Grave.
Sure.
You know, certainly Vile Rebirth, if he gets to ambush a 1/1 with it, like, at any point, like, it's just tremendous. But the power of countering Rise from the Grave really can't be overstated.
Oh, wow. And Crippling Blight to make the Duskmantle Prowler unable to block. And Shota Yasooka takes the match 2-1.
Right off the top.
There you get a good look at Shota Yasooka with Yuya Watanabe watching from behind.
Yuya looks very stern.
Goes in to give his